Good morning. Good morning, everybody presented here. I hope I am audible. Uh, Now the time is to start the webinar. Okay, thank you so much. Now we can start the webinar. I'm Urvashi Agrawal, today's host on behalf of the Vasudev Memorial Girls Degree College. Welcome all of you at this online platform. It gives me immense pleasure to announce that Vasudev Memorial Girls Degree College is organizing its fourth webinar of the webinar series on the topic of future perspective of MSMEs in COVID-19. I requested our respected Director Manager Sir, Dr. K.S. Mishra Sir, our respected Principal Ma'am, Dr. Hemlata Bora Ma'am, our respected resource person, Dr. Gururen Bharadwaj, my faculty and all participants presented over here. Before starting the session, I would like to take opportunity to present a brief introduction of the college. Vasudev Memorial Society, Lucknow was established in 2005 with the aim to serve society, and since then this society is involved in various social and educational activities, likewise giving education to girls, financial support to poor children for their education, giving shelter and food to deprived persons, and also providing financial support to poor girls for their marriages. This society was founded in the loving memory of late Pandit Vasudev Prasad Mishra, who worked hard and helped the poor and needy persons throughout his life. To complete the unfinished task, Vasudev Memorial Girls Degree College, Lucknow was established in the year 2005 by Dr. K.S. Mishra in the fond memory of his father, late Shri Vasudev Prasad Mishra, with the main object of providing quality education. The main objective of this college is development of the girls. This college is running BA, BSc, BCom and B.Ed courses, and this college is associated and runs with the rules and regulations with University of Lucknow. So thank you so much for joining the webinar. Now I would like to request our respected principal ma'am, Dr. Hemlata Bora ma'am, to address the webinar. Please ma'am, join us. Over to principal ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Honorable Chief Guest and all participants. It's my pleasure to welcome you all to the college webinar. On behalf of I, Dr. Hemlata Bora, Principal Vasudev Memorial Girls Degree College, Lucknow, I wish to welcome you here today or participate in our webinar. I am so happy to see you together here. I would like to extend a warm welcome to our guest of honor and keynote speaker, Dr. Guruvendra Bharadwaj, Professor of Economics and Controller for Examination and IIT University, Neemrana, Rajasthan. We are indeed grateful for you, Grace's presence. I feel grateful to welcome our manager, sir, Dr. K.S. Mishra, who is great guidance for the college and constantly support us. Let me welcome our dear teachers, students, and all participants in the college in the national webinar. The online national webinar on the very relevant topic, future perspective of MSMEs in COVID-19. So let's start. Thank you so much. Over to Rishi ma'am. म्यूट है आपका ऋषि मैम.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for these kind words. Now I would like to start the webinar. But before starting the webinar, I would like to take opportunity to introduce our resource person, today's speaker, Dr. Gururen Bharadwaj. Sir is the Professor of Economics and Controller of Examination, NIIT University, Neemrana, Rajasthan. Prior of joining NIIT University, Dr. Bharadwaj was Associate Professor of Finance at IILM Graduate School of Management, Greater Noida. He has also worked at MIT Business School, Noida, Institute of Productivity and Management, Meerut, and Lucknow University. Along with core teaching of finance subjects, Dr. Bharadwaj has presented and published more than 60 research papers in the conferences and journals of national and international repute. He has also contributed chapters in the books. He has developed course curriculum on investment and banking, banking, project finance, and financial appraisals. He has successfully supervised two MPhil candidates. He has attended various faculty developed programs and has conducted training programs. He has received Best Volunteer Award in Adult Education Program at Lucknow University, sponsored by UGC, and also coordinated various literacy training programs for trainers. So, thank you so much. Now I invite Dr. Bharadwaj to address the webinar.
Okay.
Please join us. Yes, sir, you are clear.
Are you able to see my PPT?
Yeah, uh, not till now, sir.
Just check it.
Yes,
Are you getting the PPT or not?
yes,
PPT is visible or not?
no, sir.
Sorry?
Visible.
Visible. No?
Visible.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, sir. Visible.
So, good morning to everyone. Thank you, coordinator, Dr. Roshi, Dr. Hemlata, Pooja, and Stuti. I belong to Lucknow. So, let me accept this thing. That is my workplace for 16 years. I worked there in Lucknow University. In Unity College I taught, and I taught in New Campus. At present I am teaching here at NIT University Neemrana, teaching economics and looking after the examination area as a controller of examination. So very important topic which I want to discuss today with all of you, and that is MSMEs, micro, small and medium enterprises. Here I am also mentoring some industries. I am a mentor in Startup India, where I have an opportunity to mentor few industries, and one plant which I am mentoring here, which is there at this Neemrana place. And therefore, I could learn a lot of things. Still I am learning, but I could learn a lot of things when I am visiting plant directly. So as a teacher, when I'm teaching something, when I'm looking after any plant, as a mentor, there are two different roles which I'm playing. So I thought that is a topic which I should share with you. Now there is a second reason to share this topic with you, that in current scenario, the most affected economic unit in the country is MSMEs. And therefore, without so much government support, the MSME sector has a potential to run the whole economy. And there are certain reasons, there are specific reasons which I'll discuss during the webinar. But at the same time, there is a challenge. So what are the challenge? What is the scenario? I'll start my presentation, and I'll request if you have any questions, please write it down your questions. So at the end, we will take your questions also. Now, I'm coming on my agenda. So what is the agenda with which I am coming here? Starting from the introduction. Then recently, the definition of MSME has been changed. So I'm taking as a revised MSME allocation amendments in 2020. Then major changes related to GST. Now, four important aspects of financial management and accounting which I want to discuss here in this presentation. One is capital budgeting. We know, many of us, we know this thing as an investment decision also. Then working capital management, and the third is financing decision, and fourth one is break-even point. And then I'll cover a few very important aspects. There are a lot of initiatives taken by the government in this regard. Many of us, we know this thing that around 3 lakh crore rupees have been sanctioned by the government to uplift the MSME. So people should not take this in a wrong way that government has given anything to the MSME. Government has given the guarantee only, and therefore there's a banking channel. Banking channel will boost up this MSME where the government has provided sufficient funds as a guarantee, not as a banking fund, not as a deposit. Right? So there's a credit guarantee fund for micro units. At the same time, there's a lot of problems faced by the MSMEs, and therefore the government has launched very interesting portal, Champions portal, where anyone can write the problem, and there's a deadline for every problem, and almost within a 7 days, 8 days, they answer the problem of MSME. So I'm starting with few important diagrams in my presentation, starting from the whole scenario of MSME in India. This is the data which I have taken from a report which is available at MSME portal. Now this data belongs to December 2019. So as per this data, around 83 lakhs industries, or we can say the factories, or we can say the manufacturing units, or we can say service units, they are in the country. Now, based on their investment and turnover, they have been categorized as around 89% belongs to micro, and around 11% belongs to, or 10.5% belong to small. And the next category, that is a medium, that is around 0.43%, 0.5% something. So if you see this thing, the highest ratio belongs to micro industry. So when I say micro industry, we should know what is micro industry. Now, I'll come on the definition part because that has been changed today. Another important thing which we should note, that in India, till again December 2019, the data reveals that the highest investment is made in the small, not a micro, followed by micro, definitely, and then the medium level industries, or we can say the largest segment of this MSME. Now, there are 3 states which are on top in the registration of MSMEs, starting from Maharashtra, then Bihar, and then Tamil Nadu. So 40% plus industries are concentrated in these 3 states across the country. Now, what is the criteria and what is the verification of this? The government has a portal of Aadhaar Udyog. So Udyog Aadhaar is a platform where these MSMEs are registered, and with this they can get the data. MSME departments publishes the quarterly report on the progress of this. Right? Now, next thing, very important aspect. I have been told that it's a girls' college. Now, all of us, we should see this thing. The participation of female or fair gender is little low. However, if you see, even the proportion, when you see the proportion, in micro, there are 39 lakhs units. Out of 39 lakhs, 11 lakh plus belongs to units where female are the owners, and therefore we use this term say women entrepreneurship. So the contribution of women entrepreneurship is very, very less, whether it is a micro, small, or medium enterprises. Now, there are many reasons. I'm not going to discuss those reasons right now. But yes, it's a debatable point that when we are saying that we should educate the fair gender, then the question is, can we train them in entrepreneurship also, so that more and more participation can be ensured by the fair gender or female. Now, another important aspect, and that is the manufacturing and service. So when I say manufacturing service, again, The service sector is dominating in micro and is small than the manufacturing sector. And because again the number, it is based on the number, so the ratio is almost equal in the medium. Now, this is very important table which I want to share with you, the graph. Now, recently, the definition of micro, small and medium enterprise has been changed. So, two criteria, one is the investment, another is turnover. So, 5 times means for micro, the maximum limit of investment is 1 crore. The maximum limit of turnover is 5 crore. So if the company, the organization belongs to in this category, it will be treated as micro, and if it crosses, then it will go in a small. So 10 to 50 means 10 is an investment, 50 is a turnover. Again 5 times. And same way in the medium, 20 is a this investment and 100 is a turnover. Now there is a certain concessions which are available. So micro units have certain concession, small units have certain concession, and medium has certain concession. Now we can see when we are talking about these graphs, we must have a fair idea. Though these data are, belongs to old definition, but again the trend will not change. The trend is not going to change. That is for sure. Now few steps have been taken by the government regarding GST. Earlier there was a multiple returns. Now there are one return with 2 annexers. Now, again another development, that the input tax credit claim has been upgraded, because there's a very important allegation, we can say complaint by the MSMEs and traders, that they are not getting the credit of the tax which they already paid, and therefore they need this adjustment. And this another important thing, inward supply under reverse charge mechanism RCM will be reported at GSM identification number level. So it gives an opportunity for MSMEs to grow. But I have practically seen that MSMEs are not growing the way they should grow, and there are a lot of problems. There are financial problems, there are non-financial problems. As a student of finance, I am looking after only financial problem, and therefore I have taken 4 major concepts which we understand in our day-to-day life of finance or finance teaching and learning. And first one is the investment decision, we say capital budgeting. So for MSME, this capital budgeting is very important. Now why I am saying it is very important, that in stimulus package, the government has given this concession that if MSME wants expansion, they can get a loan from banks. Approx 20% of their outstanding on 29th February in their accounts. So there is a concept of CC, cash limit. Now when I say cash limit, now in case of a cash limit, say one company has cash limit of say 2 crore rupees, or say 1 crore rupees, or say 50 lakh rupees. If they have taken 50 lakh rupees, the outstanding balance in their bank account is 50 lakh rupees on 29th February 2020. Immediately they can get 20% of this. So 20% of this, how much? That is 10 lakhs. Immediately they can get 10 lakhs. Now if they have not used that CC or that amount, bank, then whatever loan amount they have on 29th, they can 20% of this they can take it. Now taking loan from a bank is not a big task. How to use it is a big task. So when it comes on the expansion, now the most of the MSME, they will invest in capex. We use the term capital budgeting, and therefore we should understand that what is capital budgeting. So capital budgeting is a decision where we are investing money, we are spending money on the plant and machinery equipment. development, land and building, other technical aspects, say software, again very important aspect, automation, compliances. These are the things where we are investing money. Now this expenditure which we are spending today, making today, will give a long-term benefit. And therefore, it is highly important for every businessman that they should take the advantage of this investment. Now, how to take the advantage of this investment? Some fundamental things they should understand very clearly. And number one, it involves substantially higher amounts than routine expenses. So purchasing a machine is an expenditure, giving a salary is an expenditure. But these two expenditures are totally different, because the salary has a life of a month. Yeah, the plant and machinery has a life as a say 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. And therefore, purchasing a machine requires more expenditure. Now, why I have taken this thing, there is a huge debate on that how much we can replace the labor with the capital. When I say capital, means the software, automation. And therefore, when we go for automation, we should understand this thing, it is a capital expenditure. Since it's a long-term decision, it requires high amount, and therefore, the decision is reversible. When I say irreversible, means we cannot take it back immediately. And therefore, before making this investment or expenditure, one should take very conscious decision, because this decision will make or break the career life of the
sir, आपकी slides are not visible, sir. Please move on the slides.
Sorry?
Slides are not running slides. Yes, sir.
It is not visible?
No, yes, it is visible, but the slides are not moving. Actually, the first slide is only visible.
Are just not.
Yeah. Yes.
Just is it moving or not? Just a minute. Moving or not?
Not visible, sir. Not running, sir.
Just a minute.
Actually,
Are you able to see it or not?
No, sir. Yes, sir. Now these are visible.
What is the title which you are getting?
Types of projects.
Correct. Okay. So that was the slide. Are you getting the title?
Types of projects.
No, just check it. I changed the slide.
Cash flow in a project.
Correct. So
Okay.
this is investment decision. I want to explain this thing. What is investment decision? That it involves two things: cash inflow and cash outflow. So cash outflow is at the beginning, right? When we use say some part is in negative, and cash inflow, cash outflow in the beginning, and there is a cash inflow. So suppose we invest 20 lakh rupees in the beginning. What should be the decision criteria? The decision criteria should be very clear that we should recover this 20 lakhs as early as possible. Number one. Number two, we should also check this thing, if the working life of a plant and machinery or automation, software, whatever capital expenditure we are taking, in a whole working life, the amount which is recovered must be greater than the amount which we are investing today. The third, again, this is very important. We should also find out this, that if we are taking time value of money, hope many of us, we understand this concept of time value of money. I'm not taking here. But when we are taking this time value of money, what should be the rate of discount at which we can equalize the cash inflow and cash outflow while making discounts of cash outflow and cash inflow? that is termed as IRR, internal rate of return. I'll discuss this point as internal rate of return, IRR. Now, I'm coming on the types of projects. It's a very important aspect. That's why I want to share with all of you. Now, MSME face this problem, and therefore it varies company to company, firm to firm, that whether they are in a conventional projects or non-conventional projects. And I'll give you a very interesting example. So, conventional projects where initial investment is followed by small number of incoming of cash inflows, right? And in non-conventional projects, there is a cash outflow, then some cash inflow, and again cash outflow, and vice versa. Now, conventional projects, you will find almost all the core infrastructure projects, they are conventional projects. So when you say bridge, when you say roads, when you say dams, when you say power plant, gas plants, most of them, they are conventional projects, because there's a huge initial investment and then they are getting. However, education is non-conventional projects, and hope the principal will agree with me that whenever you have started your college, you invested certain amount, or your management has invested certain amount in starting your college. When you have grown up, then you decided, okay, can we open one more stream? So then you invested certain amount as a capital expenditure. And therefore, for every education institution, you will find they started with a very small or little efforts, and then they have grown up. So very classical example, non-conventional projects in education, health, we find this. Now, what we want to say, that this initial expenditure of funds duly compensated by inflow of funds occurring in future or not, we have to check this. In any case, the inflow should be greater than the outflow. That is the fundamental. Now, quickly I am coming on the methods of selecting the project or investment decision. Are you able to get this slide? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So, can anyone read it?
Cash flow in a project.
Hmm?
Cash flow in a project.
No? Which slide you are getting?
Sir, I am getting cash flow in a project.
No. Anyone else? Because there is a problem of speed, I think. Any other one?
Sir, there is that slide only, cash flow in a project.
Cash flow in a project. We have. Yes.
Why this is not? I am shifting type of project.
Cash flow in a project, sir.
Cash flow in a project, sir.
Just a minute. Just a minute. You are not getting slide, eh?
No, sir.
Are you getting in some slide?
No, sir.
Just check it.
No.
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
Now the significance.
Yes, sir. Now it is there.
Now discuss significance.
Significance. Okay. Cash flow in a project. Are you getting?
Sir, significance.
So now it is visible. And then it's so it's so
Which one?
significant.
Significance is the heading.
Significance.
Significant.
changing. That's why I'm asking. Because you are not getting the change in the slide, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, can I request Dr. Urvashi? I have sent this thing. If you can upload, if there is any problem here. Because I'm not getting why you are not getting movement of this slide.
Now, sir,
So now the
cash flow in a project.
Type
Now
of project.
the cash flow in a project is now visible the slide.
Okay, so I'm changing the slide. You are not able to see it, right?
Now the
yes, sir.
deter-
Now it is changed, determining the financing mix.
And the finance mix.
Okay, so I got your point because there is this little problem. I can tell you. The problem is that many of you are using mobile phone, right? So the speed of mobile phone and the system is totally different. Because I am doing from a desktop, so there is a little speed difference. Okay, I'll go slow. Don't worry. I'll confirm. Then only I'll go. Right?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
है ना? Just a minute. So type of project is visible to you?
Now the
No, sir.
determining the financing mix.
Everyone.
Yes, the same heading is there.
No change. Can you refresh your system?
No. So after refreshing, it shows determining the financing mix.
Oh. Let me check last time. That's all. Because that is the problem with. Sorry, this. Are you getting anything?
Yes, sir. The methods based on the assumption of certainty is the heading now.
Fine. Okay. Now you are getting.
Methods
Yes,
based
sir.
on methods based on assumption of certainty.
Okay. So anyone can read. One is accounting rate of return (ARR), payback
Yes, sir.
period, counted payback period.
Yes,
Then
sir.
value, internal rate of return, and profitability index. Right?
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm
Yes,
not
sir.
going to discuss too much about it, but few things I want to discuss here. So, can you tell me which one is based on the profit out of these methods? One method is based on the profit. Anyone? Can you answer? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible perfectly. ARR, sir.
Yeah.
ARR.
Yes. So ARR is based on the profit. Rest 5 methods are based on the cash flow. So when I say cash flow, please write it down. This is very important aspect. CFAT, cash flow after tax. Now, when we run MSME, now why I am telling you people as a teachers? Because you have an opportunity to mentor industries also. So you should understand the difference between profit and cash flows. So what is payback period? What is discounted payback period? What is net present value? What is IRR? And what is PI, profitability index? So accounting rate of return takes into account only profit part. So profit and initial investment, that is the ratio. what is payback period? Payback period shows the recovery time of initial investment. So I'll give you very interesting example again. Suppose we invested 10 lakh rupees. Every year we are getting 2 lakh rupees. How much time it will take to recover 10 lakh rupees? I pose some question.
Yes,
So
sir.
can you repeat once again?
Yes, I have invested 10 lakh rupees in a company in a capital budgeting, right? Every year the company is getting 2 lakh rupees. How much time
Okay.
a company will take to recover this 10 lakh rupees? If they are getting 2 lakh rupees every year.
Sir, most probably 5 years it would take.
Okay. So this is termed as payback period. That what you did, 10
Okay.
lakhs divided by 2 lakhs and 5 years. Now, what we are missing here? We are missing time value of money. And therefore, there's a little correction in this that is termed as discounted payback period. So payback is one thing, discounted payback period when you discount those cash inflow, right, on certain discount rate. Now, these are simple methods, so I'm not going to discuss too much. I'm coming on the second part, net present value. What is net present value? Any idea? Anyone? So okay, I'll take that. Net present value is a difference between present value of cash inflow minus present value of cash outflow. Means if the present value of total cash inflow is greater than the present value of total cash inflow, then we say it's a positive NPV and vice versa. So suppose we invested 10 lakh rupees, right, for 5 years, we are getting around 14 lakhs after discounting. This is a very important thing. So then we say 14 lakhs something plus, or whatever, 14 lakhs plus minus 10 lakhs. So the surplus, or we say positive net present value, will be 4 lakhs rupees. Now this is absolute value, whereas there is a relative value of this, and that is termed as profitability index, right? So what is profitability index? The ratio between present value of cash inflow and present value of cash outflow. So present value of cash inflow upon present value of cash outflow means if we are getting 14 lakh rupees and we are dividing it by 10 lakh rupees, the ratio will be in terms of 1, say 1.4. So this 1.4 is means it shows what? That we are getting 1.4 times. Are you getting my point or not? And therefore, this is termed as profitability index. The third is important, and IRR, internal rate of return, very popular. When I say very popular, it's a very unique because it equalizes the present value of cash inflow with present value of cash outflow. And therefore, it is a very simple term which we use, that is IRR equals to where NPV is 0. So these are the method MSME must know. So I have taken only this part of the investment decision or capital budgeting. I think audience is comfortable with this, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So now I have taken one section of this, and that is investment decision. The second is working capital. So the difference between investment decision, capital budgeting, and working capital is that the investment decision is for long term and working capital is for short term. So when I say short term, it is for a year, one financial year, one accounting year, right? Now I'll not take too much time on working capital. Few important aspects I will discuss. Determining the size of working capital, arranging the sources of working capital. There are two important aspects. Three major components of working capital: inventories, cash, and receivables. So inventory we know there are three things: raw material, work in progress, and finished goods. right? So receivables have two things, bills and the debtors. So we say bills receivable and trade debtors. Now determining the size of working capital, this is an important aspect, and arranging the sources of working capital, which we'll discuss. There are few real life challenges which we should take quickly. Number one, the price fluctuation in raw material. That's very important aspect. So when we do some order, when we create a sample, there's some price. There may be change in the price, and therefore the quantum of working capital may change. There may be shortage of labor for particular order, and therefore there is a little premium we have to pay on our labor. In a similar way, GST. So you have to pay first GST, the credit comes later on, and therefore you need certain money. Now it is very important in the production, especially in a manufacturing, that you cannot purchase the exact amount of raw material. Exact amount of raw material. So there's some wastage, some extra. Because the material comes in a lot size. So it is not necessary that every time lot size will match. So there will be extra inventory, wastage of inventory, and the utility bills. Again, very important aspect. Electricity, water, right? These are the expenses which we should take into account. Then credit creation charges, again important thing. I don't know how many out of you they know that Paytm charges 2% or 2 or 2.5% in certain cases when you take some payment of credit card through Paytm. So there are a lot of real life challenges which we should consider. Now when it comes on the type of working capital, this slide is visible or not?
Types of working capital.
Okay. So two types I'll discuss. One is a gross working capital, another is net working capital. In a similar way, there is a permanent working capital and there's a temporary working capital. So two types of classification. One is a gross and net, and another is permanent and temporary. So what is gross? When you take all current assets, this is a gross working capital. When you deduct the current liability from the current assets, it is net working capital. Right? Now, net working capital is very, very important. It may be negative, it may be positive. And therefore, we should understand the quantum of working capital which is required. What is permanent and temporary? To run your show, to run your company, to run your organization, whatever day-to-day requirement of expenditure is there, it is a permanent working capital. What is temporary working capital? When you get some extra order, say tender, so sometimes you need little more raw material, labor, etc., or say overtime you have to pay, then this is termed as temporary working capital. Now, how to arrange this? Three sources: long term, short term, and spontaneous. Three approaches: matching approach or hedge approach, conservative approach, and aggressive approach. So when I say long term, hope you are knowing these things: term loans, issue of shares, debentures, public deposit, short term bank loan, overdraft, etc. Spontaneous, state creditors. So can you see the difference between long term, which has a life more than a year, short term, which has a life of around a year, spontaneous, which has a life very short, say 2 months, 3 months, 1 month, that is spontaneous. These are the types of financing of working capital. Three approaches I am taking. So one is matching, means permanent working capital with the long term, short term with the temporary with the short term. Fine. Second, conservative, means you have working capital, but the whole full amount of working capital is financed by the long term funds. Then aggressive, that permanent is funded by the short term also. So there are three approaches. The last one is very, very risky situation, because in case of any failure, there is a lot of chances of losses. The conservative approach is definitely costly, and therefore the best choice is matching. This is business operating cycle, and hope you are aware about it. So cash is converted into raw material into work in progress into finished goods is sold. Then there is a credit sales, so debtors, bills receivables, and again it recovered as a cash. So the cycle goes and goes on. So two topics I have covered. Anyone who can repeat what two topics I have covered? Hello.
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
Okay, so what two topics I have covered? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Which two topics I have covered? फाइनेंस के दो टॉपिक हमने कवर कर दिए. कौन कौन से दो टॉपिक कवर किए? Or I should stop here?
Sir, working capital management you have covered,
Yes.
and the methods were discussed of the project.
नहीं, एक तो सही बताया. दूसरा
Capital budgeting is also covered.
capital budgeting, correct. So we have covered the investment decision part for long term and short term. So when I say long term, it is investment decision, capital budgeting, and when it comes on short term, it is working capital management. This is total investment. Now, very important aspects, and that's why I want your attention. Because as a teacher, if you understand, then you can explain to everyone. So I'm not covering everything. I'm just giving introduction and see the importance of this. This is financing decision. Means you identify the investment, short term and long term. How to finance them? Because without finance, there's no purpose of investment. And if no investment, then what you will finance? So therefore, these are complementary to each other. Financing decision supports investment, and investment decision supports to financing decision. And therefore, there's a very important relationship. I would request to everyone, please write the third line. The slide is visible to you, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So what is the title of the slide?
A relationship between financing and investment decisions.
Okay, so what is third line?
Cost of capital must be greater than the internal rate of return.
Return cost. Thank you. This is the crux of financing decision. So what is cost of capital? The amount which we pay to take the finance. Whether it is a term loan, whether it is a shares, debentures, whatever sorts of finance you can think, there will be some cost of capital. What is internal rate of return? If you remember, we discussed in the methods of capital budgeting. Yes or no? That is IRR. So IRR should be greater than this cost of capital. If we want to have successful MSME, there should be this fundamental that IRR should be greater than cost of capital. These are the sources of finance. For long-term, preferential capital, equity share capital, retained earning, for borrowed funds, term loan, debenture, etc. Now I'm coming on the fourth point, last one. And this is break-even point. Many of you know this thing, what is break-even point? So everyone wants to start the business with the intention of earning more profit. But when we start business, we don't earn profit, we earn losses. And therefore, what is the first target? The first target is to reduce the losses, bring these losses zero. And therefore, the break-even point is that point. When the firm stop their losses, please make a note. Then they can think about the profit. First, they have to reduce the losses, make it zero. And therefore, break-even point is the point. It ensures that, okay, at this moment, at this output, there will be no profit, no loss. Right? So this is break-even point we can depict in this way. Total sales and total revenue. Intersecting point of total sales, total revenue. I have given very simple example of this. This is a cost structure. So where the cost is, if you see 2,10,000 as the variable cost, 60,000 as a fixed cost, 2,70,000, 30,000 is a profit. So this is the structure of marginal costing. We should know, and it's a very, very important, very small but very important aspect of this. At the end, these are my recommendation, suggestions, that the government should create one help center at a district level, because MSMEs are facing a lot of problems. There are another important aspect of credit. So MSME faces a lot of problem in the credit. Therefore, bill discounting should be expanded. There is a provision of bill discounted so that MSME should get their payment at the earliest, even at some discount also. Adoption of fintech, it's a very cheap, and therefore I recommend to many MSMEs and the government also to adopt this. And then use of ICT, information and communication technology. There is a lot of problem with the labor, especially labor force in MSME. So I also recommend that MSME should take care of social security charges or arrangements, for example, ESI, provident fund, pension, etc., for their laborer, even they are contractual labor. Then another important aspect in the adoption of integrated marketing and logistics solution. Amazon is a classical example. Many of us, we have seen that the growth of Amazon is basically based on this concept of integrated marketing and logistics solution. So these kind of a small attempt can be made by the government also. It is not only private can do, government and the private entrepreneur. So there may be a model triple P, public-private partnership. These things can be conducted and can be implemented. Improvement in the production efficiency is very important. So the change in the machinery at right time. There's a depreciation, there's a working life. So when the working life is over, the machine should be changed so that the production efficiency can increase. Another important thing, and that is again related with the productivity, and that is skill development and manpower development. So for workforce, labor, there should be skill development. At the same time, office staff also need some development of software skill, etc. So these are my recommendation. I'm not going to read too much about the fintech, but for new people, I think they should know what is fintech. In most of our of life, we do this thing, phone pay, Paytm. These are very classical example of e-wallet which we use in our day-to-day life, right? So with this, I'm ending my presentation. Anyone who has any question is most welcome. Yes, I have done.
Sir, Ashish Srivastav has asked one question. Kindly explain what is the prospect of MSME sustainability in COVID-19 time.
Okay. So that's why I want to continue this thing, that the government is supporting to MSME. Now there's a gap. The gap is the government can support financially through the banking channel only. Now bank requires a lot of documents, and the MSME does not know what documents they have to prepare. Therefore, as a teacher, we have a responsibility. We can do this thing, all these things which we have discussed. This is required basically by the banks. So if we know this thing as a teacher, we can prepare these documents. When we are able to prepare these documents, we can support any MSME. So MSME can very easily get the loan from the banks. Number one. Number two, that I say this marketing part. Now, when the government said this thing, Atmanirbhar Bharat. Now, if you have seen the advertisement, the big companies even, they started writing proudly, made in India, proud of India. So we should not hesitate to say this thing, yes, we are Indian and we are manufacturing locally. It's not an international brand. It's not a multinational company. So this brand which we are creating will definitely sustain the local market. So if we have a capability and we are getting right support, in any case, we'll be able to sustain it even after COVID-19, or we say new normal. I use this term new normal. So this new normal term is basically for the situation which will come after COVID-19. So even today also, there's a lot of opportunities. Like if you remember, the mask is produced in India. No international, no multinational companies preparing. PPE kit. No multinational companies preparing in India. We people are preparing, right? So local organization has already started the production, and therefore there's a lot of opportunity for MSMEs.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving and sharing this knowledgeable and enlightening session about MSMEs to our viewers and audience. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Hemlata Bora, ma'am, to present vote of thanks. Join, ma'am.
Thank you, Rushi ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
And thank you, sir. Very informative information. Today's topic, future perspective of MSMEs in COVID-19. MSMEs means micro, small, medium enterprises. Worldwide, MSMEs have been accepted as the engine of economy, growth, and for promoting equitable development. They constitute over 90% of total enterprises in most of the economics and are credited with generating the highest rate of employment growth and account for a major share of industrial production and export. The MSMEs play a vital role in the overall growth of industrial economy of the country. With its agility and dynamism, the sector has shown admirable inventiveness and adaptability to survive the recent economy downturn and recession, and have lots of opportunities to grow in the future. To conclude, the MSME sector of India is today at the gateway of global growth on the strength of competitive and quality product range. MSMEs in the Indian economy has shown tremendous growth and excellent performance with the contribution of policy framework and efficient steps with which had been taken by the government time to time for the growth.
What happened, ma'am? It seems your connection is lost. हाँ मैम, आपका कनेक्शन लॉस्ट हो गया है. It seems that ma'am, connection and connectivity of the ma'am. There is some problem in net connection with ma'am.
Okay, so we should conclude it, right?
Yeah, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for this knowledgeable session about MSMEs. Actually, I am not from the commercial and finance background. I am from education background. That's why I was able to give your answers and feedback. But still, I enjoyed Still, I enjoyed your session, and it strengthened my knowledge and extended my knowledge about the topic. Because of you, sir, I am looking forward to see you again in the future, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We are very grateful to you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you all the participants for being with us. Thank you so much, all the participants, and thank you so much. Ma'am is connecting. Yeah, ma'am. Ma'am, will you join, ma'am?
Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I would like to thank our distinguished chief guest who honored this webinar with his inspirational thoughts. And I would like to thank our manager, sir, for giving his constant as well as the complete creative freedom. I also want to thank our respected teachers, students, organizers, participants who worked really hard for this program and making this program a huge success. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Now the time is to wind up the session. So thank you so much, participants. You can now fill up the feedback form and you will be able to get certificate also. Thank you so much. You can leave now from the meeting. Thank you so much.